Right turn and left turn, dog circles right, forward. So you and the dog are going to be doing very different things for this. You'll start together and you'll end together though. Principal parts for this exercise. The handler turns right or left, and the dog circles around the handler to the right. So the dog's always going right. Of course they are, because they're going from heel position back to heel position. So it's always to the right. A non-principal part of the exercise is returning to heel position and heeling forward. And it also says the handler may pause as needed. One of the problems with the exercise is as you turn right, if you're cueing the dog to go in front of you because the dog has to go around, and you're moving right, the dog's going to cross your path and it might not end up in a good way. So you can pause. As you turn right, you can wait for the dog to pass you, and you can even wait until the dog comes back into heel before going on. The left side's a little bit easier because as you make the left turn, the dog's already going to be coming around you. So you could walk forward more easily on that because the dog's path is shorter. The dog is actually doing a 270 while you do a 90-degree turn. But going right, the dog is doing 450 degrees while you're just making a 90-degree right turn. So the path is longer for the dog that way. Skills for the dog on this are circling all the way around you. Well, the dogs already know part of that because they've done right finishes where they also went around you. They also know about circling around you because you've done 360s, 270s, 180s, and that's the same thing, dog and handler together moving in a little clockwise circle. So if the dog's going to have this new skill of circling around you while you may go with the dog part of the way or maybe turning the opposite way from the way the dog is going, it's nice to have the dog go a little bit faster so that you don't have to hang out there for a long time waiting for the dog to come back into heel position. On the demo video, I showed one way to speed up the dogs, and that is as you make the turn and the dog comes around you, throw a toy, toss it either in front of you so the dog's momentum is forward or off to the right so the dog's momentum continues circling around you. Either way works, and some dogs would rather chase a treat. Some dogs would prefer to go after a toy, or a ball is a good thing too. Most dogs go for that. Another way to get faster turns is to take a treat or a toy, keep it close to your body so the dog makes a tighter circle around you. If the dog's making a tighter circle, it's going to take the dog less time than if the dog is moseying around at 3 feet away from you. If you have a small dog, you can still do this, or you can take a long cooking spoon, put some cheese on the end, and pass that around. You can also put something like a cat toy, one of those little tiny balls, or a furry thing, or something on the end of your target stick, and let your dog chase that around very close to you. Now with the small dogs, if you're doing right and left turns, they're going to be very concerned, most of them, about where your foot placement is. So you may want to practice turning very carefully left and right so the dog can dash around you and not have to worry about getting kicked. So for your footwork, if you have right and left turn footwork, it's perfectly fine to use it here. And I would rather see people use the pauses, make your turn, and pause there if you need to till your dog catches up. if you want to keep moving, make your turn, take very small steps so your dog can catch up with you. I think it's important for the team to approach the station together and also to leave the station together. This is not an exercise where the dog is supposed to catch up sometime before you get to the next station. Cueing the dog for this exercise can be whatever you use for go around me. My cues for dog going around me clockwise are circle and also around. So try those, because I don't think dogs necessarily need a new cue. Whatever you use for the right finish is probably going to work just fine for this. You may need to start the dog at first for an around from heel position, but just do that with a lure the first time or two. And after that, take the lure away, have the dog follow your hand cue. You may have a hand cue for your right finish. And if you don't have a hand cue, I bet you have a body cue that you may not be aware of, which could be looking to the right. So if as you approach the station, you look to the right and tell the dog around, after you've used the lure 1 or 2 times, I'm sure your dog will get it.